Hello and welcome to another instructional video. This time, we'll be inserting a few charts into a Google Slides presentation. We'll be covering the following three objectives. First, we'll insert a chart into a Google Sheets spreadsheet. Next, we will insert a chart, that chart that we created in the spreadsheet, into the Google Slides presentation. And finally, I will demonstrate how the chart in Google Slides can update when the Google Sheet is modified. This is one of the neatest features of doing this, is that the graphic, the plot, or the graph, we can have that live update if there are any changes. Okay, let's begin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to a spreadsheet that I've created. I was very fortunate. A little less than a year ago, I purchased a new car, and I've been wanting to keep track of what kind of gas mileage I've been getting on that new car. So a couple columns that we want to be concerned with are the mileage, and I had been collecting some other types of expenses. These are all fuel expenses that we're looking at right now. This column C is the gallons of fuel that I pumped. You can see I made a mistake one time. I forgot to enter that information, and I collect this with a Google form. I also enter the total cost. Then I have a formula that runs on the miles per gallon column that calculates the difference between fill-ups and then divides by the total number of gallons of gas. And this gets messed up if I don't fill the car up all the way. So you'll notice, like down here, there are some gaps. But Google Sheets, I find it easiest to insert a chart when we have two columns that we want to plot together. So I would like to get mileage and MPGs on my plot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in this first cell of cell G1, type in the equal sign, and then I will click on cell A. Oh, actually, I'm in the wrong cell. I want to call this the same thing. So I'm just going to hit equals, and I'm going to click on mileage, and that gets A1, and then I hit enter. If I click back on that cell G1, I can access this blue dot and pull that all the way down to fill that information. And all that's doing is copying column G from column A, copying column A to column G. Now this next one, I'd like MPG to be there. So I'll do the same thing, hit the equals sign, click on E1, enter, and then I will click on that and drag that fill command all the way down. And now I have my two numbers together. And like that first tank of gas, I wasn't able to calculate that because we're actually, let's see, let's get that in there. This might maybe work. So let's use the formula equals to 192 divided by 8 gallons. Let's see. Yeah, so that did work. And I can reduce those decimal places to match the rest. Looks like 22 miles to the gallon. Okay, now if I select these two columns, and I'm just going to drag my sheet over here so I have a little blank space. So these are the columns that I want to create a chart for, and I can go to the Insert Chart button right here. And Google will predict what I want. And for our purposes, this is good. So I am looking at, over the course of the lifetime of my car so far, it has a little over 8,000 miles, getting close to 9,000 miles. We can see that the gas mileage was somewhere between a little below 20 to at the highest, a little above 30. Okay, so there's one of my charts. I'm going to insert another one, so we can practice that. If I highlight two columns, and this one I've already created before, I had to do a little more formula math in order to calculate this out. But this plots mileage versus the price of gas. So we can see how that kind of changed over the lifetime of my car so far. And if we put those two graphs there, This one, we can see some oscillation in there as well. This one definitely has more of an upward trend. So now I have two graphs, and now I'm going to come back to my Google Sheet. Now, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to adjust the size of this text box. By default, it's usually someplace around there. But if I shrink that, something nice that Google will do is it will automatically, fit to this empty space. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'll go to Chart. And we can manually make one in here, but I want to do it from my real data that I have in Sheets. Click on there, and it's going to show me my recent documents that I've had open. So I'm going to open that gas mileage one, and you'll see that it gives me two choices. I can take that second chart, and I always make sure to leave this link to spreadsheet checked. Now, for me, that looks pretty good. Now, if I come, you'll notice we have these options. We can open the source where we got that data. Now, something that's kind of neat, let's see if I sort it by gas price low to high. And then if I come back to my chart, you'll notice it says update. And so now we've updated, and that I think that's not working properly totally because I am creating a bivariate graph. So we might have messed things up a little bit here. But it does illustrate how that graph can change with our spreadsheet. And if you're going to want people to be able to access both the presentation and the spreadsheet, you will need to make sure that both are shared, possibly with anyone with the link or maybe anyone in your organization. But that was just a short video on how to insert a Google chart into Google Slides. Thanks for learning with me, and I'll see you next time.